Hector, you're really spot on in the way you put it. I think we've built a community, and that is so important, community. And I think when our parents grew up in Hong Kong, it wasn't much of a community. Everyone was for themselves. Now, like you said, I can make a phone call and go, hey, Hector, I need you to come down and help me volunteer, get 10 guys to support me on this, cleanup or initiative, and you'll come down. So I think that's something that, again, I'm proud of, how cool it is. Like, you're a Filipino, I'm Indian. We've got friends who are Pakistanis, you've got Nepalese. In our parents' upbringing in Hong Kong, it wasn't so easy like this. And I think we built it up.
And we're going to get further in the long run.
Oh, for sure. I'm really excited about what's next.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're now watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are now in the depths of TST with Jeff.
That's right. Not just TST, but Chungking Mansions, bro.
Exactly the point, and we'll get to that a little bit more later. But yeah, social worker for around 15 years already.
That's right.
And you will introduce everything prior to that. But before that, we will begin with where were you born and how did you get here, where you are right now. So yeah.
Yeah, Hector. Well, thank you for having me. Firstly, yeah, born and raised in Hong Kong, third generation Hong Konger. Grandpa came in his 60s, did my schooling in Hong Kong, and here I am. Really, literally never left Hong Kong for all my life, actually. Been here and just grew up here, and yeah, I love this place so much.
So everything here transitioned from the 80s to now, and you're probably missing the neon lights.
That's true.
And the push carts, like,
oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Cox Road is a Chung Fun, you know. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Everything was so cheap. And even outside on the street, there was cha cereal.
Yes.
And I remember I was like 1997.
I know.
I buy for $5.
Dude.
And it could feed a family of 4.
I was just saying, in Cox Road, just behind my primary school, yeah, there was a lady Chung Fun. You could hear the scissors, literally the old school, like scissors, chick, 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 chick. Chung Fun, hot sauce, and yeah.
It's just the traditional ones cook differently. It tastes differently.
Correct.
Even siomai and udon.
Exactly.
Like, the only spots that are on point is very rare.
No. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going out.
Yeah, we are. But yeah, we love Hong Kong.
Yeah, but yeah. Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And so growing up, you were always here, and you love football as well.
Very much.
So you're a certified coach?
I am. I mean, football, because, Hector, I don't know, for me, growing up in Hong Kong, that sense of belonging is not always there, or even if you may have it, others don't accept you. And I struggled on the football pitch. I'd bring my football from home, and there were times when I would have to go back home knowing that I haven't even played a game, because people would either never let you gandai, never let you play, or they would call me hak guai, hak chai, and all sorts of like cha jais. So it was really tough. But football, when you play the game, just like you rap, when you're good at something, people are like, oh, then they're like, chamalewan.
Rap was the same. Yeah. It was empty back then. It was not really commercialized as it is today.
Right.
So we were part of the underground that pushed it forward until we finally got noticed and respected by local people, and we started working together. And that's when it got better.
There you go. And that's what football also, it's just like rap. It's an integration tool. And when you're good at something, they tend to respect you more, and I think that for me is still happening. I use football even now as a coach, teach the young minority refugee kids, play football, get in there, and build your self-esteem.
Or you didn't get chosen a lot in many games. So question is, were you a very nice guy?
I think one of the things is I did not really put up a fight much, and yes, I was.
That was then.
That was then,
and then
I'd be like,
in the middle, it changed.
It did change. And
what triggered the change? Did you get pissed off? Like, normally men get pissed off, then things change.
That's a very good point, and I think one of them was when I was embarrassed in front of when we went to play football in Hong Kong, and one day they really insulted me, and I went back home, and I remember I cried to my mom. I said, "Why did you make me in this color? Like, I hate this." And then she said, "Jeff, if you were white, imagine how many times you had to take a shower. Where would you have time to play football?" So she kind of like calmed me down a bit, but I just thought to myself, no, I will not put up with this. I will not go to the football pitch and not play. So that's when I started to put a stand and, really stamp my authority and started to fight for rights. Yeah, and I think that self-esteem started to build in there, and my sense of belonging. You know, I think what I learned from many people is if you don't take the fight yourself, then no one's going to fight for you. And that's what it is. And yeah, here I am today.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same for me for a credit card, for example. Right. I got declined 3 times, but I worked for a globally known corporate company that was an IPO.
Okay.
And I got declined for the 3rd time. I got pissed off. I walked in the bank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's your manager?
Yeah.
So why do you want the manager?
Right,
like,
right.
Well, can you please justify why am I declined 3 times from my credit card application?
Right.
Gets my details. Sir, because according to our record, like it says,
yeah.
like, what does it say? Like, I'm working for a corporate
there
company.
You go.
I'm earning well, and you're
go.
Declining business. So if you can't answer me, sorry, sir, I can't answer. Where's your manager? Call him now. No, sir, it's okay. We'll just qualify you.
Fantastic.
Then I got my card.
There you go. So it's a process, though. It's not like, you know, you fight on the first day and yeah, it also takes its toll. Fighting is also exhausting all the time.
I think it's a man thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of men don't understand, but there's a saying where, I mean, you never start fights, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But let's say you're walking around with your woman,
yep.
and then she gets, you know, maybe smacked.
Yeah.
And if you let it go, one thing is going to happen. First is the men will think you can get pushed around and they won't respect you. Correct. And then 2, your woman will lose respect for you because you couldn't protect her.
That's right.
So the second way is you don't let them.
Yep.
It might be a fight. You might get punched, but you punch back. You might bleed a bit. But next time they'll think, okay, don't mess with that guy. And then your woman's like, okay, he can protect me.
There you go.
So a lot don't understand this. So either way, if you are, don't mind my language, the asshole, but people like you better because they know you'll put up a fight.
Right.
But if you're too nice, and they say nice men are not good leaders because they can't go that far.
Right.
They will not stand up.
Well, I'm still trying to, you know, balance the
I'm not
nice
saying
guy. Yeah, no, I know. But I think for me, being nice is also an important trait, especially in a city like Hong Kong. It can be quite mean to people, mean to minorities. And I think one of the beautiful things about our community is our hospitality. And I think that's the niceness about us. So I'm still trying to blend the niceness, but also saying, hey, we will not just take crap anymore. We are Hong Kongers. We belong in the city. We're contributing. Look at the diversity of what we're doing now. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we were all just destined to be construction workers and F&B and security guards. Now, look at us. I mean, you're leading in insurance. There's social workers like me. I used to be the first. Now there's 30 of us. So, you know, there's 40 policemen. So I think
there's recently a Nepali policeman.
There you go. Exactly. So, you know, I think it's time to, you know, not just be the nice guy, but also say, hey.
It's time to...
Yes, yeah. Well,
no,
in a different way. You know what I mean?
Deep down, you're like...
Yeah, but I think, we should be proud and we should let the world know what we've accomplished was not easy. To be where we are, it's not easy. People think, oh, you've got a nice tie on. Well, Jeff, you always look happy, but it's not. We've had a struggle to be where we are.
And it always is every year.
Exactly. No one just gave us a door opening and come on in. No, you know.
And the hardest thing is, like, I'm not talking bad about our people, right? But it's like we're doing things that are not part of the norm.
Yeah.
So at first they'll feel really uncomfortable about it.
Absolutely.
So it's really hard to get the support from your people
Well said.
And they want to see you doing good for a while before they even support. Like first year, oh, you survived your first year. Let's see if you can do more. Right. Second year, oh, you got that promotion. All right, cool. But let's see. 5 years later, let's see how long you can last.
You
like the test is so long.
You are spot on.
But you want to prove our people, you know, that we can do it.
Exactly. And you're right, spot on. Our community in the first time. Social workers, what, you get paid? Isn't it free? I'm sure it happened in insurance as well. No one gave us a chance. So look, I mean, all the work that we put in today, you know, it's a norm now for minorities to be getting into insurance and social work. But we had to lead the way, which is not always easy. Leading the way takes a lot of
uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable discussions, and even for my people, for example, there's only 2 conversations because Filipinos are stubborn. Coming from me, I'm very stubborn. But I love that stubbornness. I find it sexy because once it's like changed into another perspective, they're stubborn for that perspective. We'll fight for this, right? So we're trying to change that. We don't really believe in insurance to you have to buy, man. Like if you don't, like everyone's buying. You know, in a way, it's like trend setting all the time in anything that we do, any industry, right?
Right, and it's wonderful because insurance. When you talk about insurance, it's the same with social work. They don't believe in social work. It's like, no, you shouldn't do. You know, social workers don't get money. You're always just giving, but no, actually, it's also changing that perspective. And I'm proud also in our community now. They look at social workers as someone with value and a respectable job with a good pay, and also making societal change. So yeah, I'm really, really happy, where I am today.
Like the fact that you went through all that fight throughout those years and people saw it and you stood up for them.
Yes.
That earns you something that cannot be bought by money.
Well said.
Respect.
Really well said. Exactly.
Respect.
Yeah.
And it comes a time where, I'm not saying or assuming, but obviously you have connections, right? There comes a time where maybe you want a change of career. Maybe you're like, hey, I want to do this business. I need this much money. I know I don't have it, but I got these potential investors. Let me talk to them. But the fact that they respect you, they would sit down at least to listen to you.
Oh, 100%.
And it might not suit them, but they might have another 10 friends that are looking to invest in something.
Well said, Hector.
So it's all connections, respect, relationships in the long run.
100%. And I think, Hector, you're really spot on in the way you put it. I think we've built a community, and that is so important, community. And I think when our parents grew up in Hong Kong, it wasn't much of a community. Everyone was for themselves. Now, like you said, I can make a phone call and go, hey, Hector, I need you to come down and help me volunteer, get 10 guys to support me on this, cleanup or initiative, and you'll come down. So I think that's something that, again, I'm proud of, how cool it is. Like, you're a Filipino, I'm Indian, we've got friends who are Pakistanis, you've got Nepalese. In our parents' upbringing in Hong Kong, it wasn't so easy like this. And I think we built it up.
And we're going to get further in the long run.
Oh, for sure. I'm really excited about what's next. And, for me, if I can share, we're next door to us, we're creating a museum, an ethnic minority museum.
You're going to put my face there?
Yeah, we're going to put your face there for sure. We're going to put
torch holders of hip-hop.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Hip-hop and insurance. I mean, that's a double role there. But I think for me, why am I creating the space? Why am I initiating the space? Is because growing up, we didn't have role models. We weren't talked about in school textbooks. So local Chinese kids would look at us and going like, where are you from?
Malcolm X, Gandhi.
There you go, exactly. So
Bob Marley
right there. But yeah, I'm excited. I think having the space is going to create like a sense of belonging. Local Chinese kids can come up and go, oh, ethnic minorities have been in Hong Kong since 100+ years. So, this is their home too. So I think that's the kind of thing I want to build up. And I'm really grateful, again, Hector, like you said, the network and investors. How did we get this place? A family friend of ours, an Indian man, he owns the flat, and he heard about the idea and he says, take it for 2 years, don't pay me rent. And then the university saw this and says, Jeff, we really believe in this. We're going to put in $1 million to renovate the space. So I'll show it to you later on, but you can just see that's community. 10 years ago, impossible. Now people believe in the work that we do.
But here's the funny thing. Before you got here, there were people that believed in it first. Right? I won't get too deep. But people always think they are victims of circumstance. Because this happened, or because, the rent is that, or just all these reasons why they can't, because they are too focused on matter. But this building and room was by thought. So everything that's happening here right now was once by all of you thinking about it, or at some point maybe Christian action, probably prayers as well. Hopefully we get people that will fund us every year, so we can hire more people. We can keep this going. And at some point it did happen. But you thought about it years prior to it actually manifesting and happening.
Really well said, baby.
So I'm very big on that. But 5 years of suffering though, you're like, how are we gonna pull it off? But that's how God tests you.
That is true. And you're right, Hector. I think we were just talking before this. This place was on a fire before.
That as well. I wanted to talk about that. Like, how did the fire start, and then how did it all just fall into place and you got it renovated?
So this was a 3 years ago, just after the social unrest, pandemic was starting, worst points in Hong Kong. An air conditioning short circuit just burst, and then within 10 minutes the center was gone. And bro, we don't get any government funding in this center, so it's been tough.
Fire insurance?
Fire insurance didn't cover much, so we were in trouble. So we said, let's just fix the burnt unit for $800,000. Let's ask the public to support us. And
Public gave more.
Gave more. You're right. There you go. Because you and I, we know this kind of stuff, but it's hard. In 2 months, we got $2.4 million, and that's why we built up this place again. It's beautiful, and it's the power of people, bro. And I think 10 years ago, if you said let's fundraise for Chungking Mansion's refugee center, I'll tell you forget about it. But you see how much we've changed around, and you heard about Chungking. You've done a video, rap video here. We're
Holla to my city.
There you go. I mean,
Dallas to a milli.
There you go. I'm proud because, bro, there's not a lot of people who would come in here and do that. And I think those who are brave and courageous enough.
We were the first ones.
There you go.
I mean, not that I'm taking credit, but then later there was a surge of other rappers filming. So
see, that's what I'm saying. So
Chungking's cool.
And will be forever cool because it's so unique. So I'm really proud and look at this center. I mean, it's brand new because the people believed in the work that we do and fundraised for us. And
I don't know. Like, I feel like we're just in a system where we're all too divided. But truth is, if everybody donated $1 a month, there's 7 million people in Hong Kong. Maybe assuming 5 million are the one working, then that means there's 5 million every month. I mean, how much do we pay for tax every year? So.
I tell you, I know.
Right, so there's a lot of money. It's just not circulating properly because there are systems in place that have to be kept in place, or else everyone will be poor. Because if everyone's rich, everyone's poor. No one will work.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I think, again, you and I, people, we believe in the collective good. If not, we wouldn't do what we're doing. And I think we just have to keep changing it and hope for community impact. And I think that's what I really truly believe in, like the museum that's about to be built. I'm not doing it for you and me. I'm doing it for the younger generation, that tomorrow when you and I are not here, that can be sustained. And some other kids will go in and say, you know, my generation before me suffered and struggled, but I shouldn't. So yeah, I'm looking for really a legacy for ethnic minorities.
Yeah, maybe a statue of you and I and Avenue of Stars.
No.
You know? But we had 𝙆𝙗𝙩𝙩𝙘𝙤, the guy that filmed it all.
I mean, look, bro. I mean, you know, we've got good people that in our network. Like I said, the policemen, the firemen. There's a comedian. There's social workers. There's influencers. There's so many of us now.
So there's a lot of EMs now, and those are people I want to work with.
Yes, please.
Shout outs to you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff will contact you.
Yeah, for sure, guys.
Anyway,
we need to create this like group of Avengers or superheroes, you know?
Yeah. Now, guys, I'm a believer of just money has to circulate. Yeah. It's like an economy. You know, what I love about the Nepali community is Jordan is like, in a way for me, in a good way to say it, it's like Nepali land. There's just shops everywhere and restaurants. And they just support each other. Yeah. And they rotate the money in that economy.
They do.
You know, and I only see that in Nepalis. Now, for Indians, it's slightly different. They're more business-based. Correct. They open this business, that business, or before it was very, very common for import-export. I don't know nowadays because it's slightly different now. And for Filipinos, still a long way to go, to be honest. Right? But rotating money is exactly how it should be because all of us by then supporting each other is the only way we're all gonna earn, right?
Yeah.
So this is for everyone actually. Yeah.
Well, as a social worker, I believe empowerment is the most important thing and giving dignity to those who don't have it. And I think for me, I see how poverty can be a vicious cycle. I mean, why you're trying to do insurance for people is to become
change their mind.
Exactly. So
and what made wealthy families wealthy is because of life insurance as well.
There you go.
All right. So there's a lot to learn.
Yeah, there is. And you're right. I think vicious cycle of poverty needs to end for our community because how long can we always rely on welfare? How long can we keep doing construction work? Right? I think it's time to start coming out of that comfort zone and pushing through.
It's just the mind, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I heard of a place opened by 4 partners. They spent 50,000 each. And in a span of over 2 years, or I think 3 years, they're already making at least over 100,000 every month. So, but they just dropped 50,000 each, right? And to a lot of people, I'm not only going to say EMs that are not really financially sound. They loan money and then they get in bad debt, which means they have no more credit and they don't fix it back ever. But it's very important. So these 4 people just put 50,000 times 4 and now they're running a business. One even already left, got their shares back, right? So there's 3 left.
There you go.
And they're still sharing profits, right? So there's so much we can do. And I have met, because I do insurance, I get to network and meet people of different walks of life.
That's right.
I met this 21-year-old guy a few years ago in the midst of COVID, and he started his first business. Parents didn't support it. He had a degree, studied business, and now he owns a huge place, over 1,000 square feet, in the midst of Chimsachoi.
There you go.
Somewhere around here.
My gosh.
And he's earning from it. And he's below 25. He's way younger than me and a lot of my friends combined.
Gotcha.
So a 21-year-old can do that. And I'm so sure all over the world, there should be younger people below 20, right?
100%.
So it's just the mind, honestly. You're not poor. You're just poor by program.
I feel you. I feel you. And I think it's the mindset.
You have to refuse to believe that this is all there is. And then you will start to believe that there should be a way, but you have to give yourself a deadline that I should make this happen within this year, and you'll do everything it takes to make it work.
And you're right. And as a social worker, this is what we, really believe in, in an action care plan for individuals, that they can eventually see what they're good at and come out, because no one is born being a bad person. No one is born supposed to be poor all their life.
You're just born in circumstance, but it's your fault if you get stuck there. It's not family, right?
Yeah. And
also, you will get support only when you start to believe in yourself.
That's true.
Right? Now, to get to another area, I do want to go a little bit further to before you started being a social worker.
Sure.
Right? So you were one of the first at that time.
That's right.
But prior to that,
Hector, even prior to where I was before a social worker, I was a kind of a delinquent youth, I came from segregated school, walked into gangs, got arrested as a youth, and...
So you fought a lot back then?
Oh, fought a lot, got
Were
into
you really
so much
good?
trouble. No, bro, I was a background guy, but, got in trouble.
Were you better at punching or kicking?
Yeah, I was good at kicking and then getting out, but I was arrested. And, as a EM, when you're arrested, it's a different world, man. You really face a harsher consequence, and I was just very lucky that till today, I always remember this number 92376464. This local social worker I called, I said, "Hey, Fermi, I'm in big trouble. I need you to 𝙆𝙤𝙣𝙚𝙣𝙚. And she came to 𝙤𝙤𝙣𝙚 police station.
Is she the one who got you out?
Yes, right.
Got to your head?
She did. And I'll tell you one thing, Hector, as I was doing my fingerprinting, getting my bail sheet, I saw a blackboard in 𝙤𝙤𝙚 police station that says NEC. Non-ethnic Chinese, and the crimes that we committed. And I was going to be another negative statistic for our community. And I said to myself, how did I do this? How did I end up like this? Anyway, I think she found me a lawyer. She found me these VIPs to write letters for me. And somehow, I'm telling you, till today, that's the Mark 6 moment for me. People always say, Jeff, do you do Mark 6? I said, no, not much, because I hit the jackpot about 20 years. Sorry.
I won it my first time.
You did? Oh, wow.
By accident.
Wonderful. But yeah, the judge gave me a chance, and he says, I'm going to give you a 1-year bind over. In 1 year, if you commit any crime, you're going straight to jail. So that was the big wake-up moment I needed. And
were you 18 already?
I was just 18. So, huge mess.
How'd you get in, though? Were you
it's easy.
Looking for a place to fit in? Or?
No, yeah, that's one. Of course, I was bullied a lot in school, being dark-skinned, getting into fights. And also, I thought being in a gang was just easier. I'll tell you one thing. When you get your Form 5 results, and if it's a really bad result, nowadays, if you do it, there's always a social worker. There's some government departments telling you, oh, there's Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. You've not failed. But back in the day...
Before, they don't.
They don't do it.
I failed too. I only passed English.
There you go. Okay, we're the same.
I only passed later in life when I realized what I needed. So the problem in school is they don't deliver the message of why you need it. Or help you find out why you need it.
Thank you so much. But let me tell you who's outside waiting for us outside of schools. It's 𝙆𝙤𝙣𝙗𝙗. No requirement, no language needed. Whereas if you want to go into further education, you need to learn Cantonese, you need to make sure you pass certain subjects, but 𝙆𝙤𝙗𝙗, just join us. And that was my way in, and we fitted in, And I think also at that time, many of us rebelled against society because society didn't accept us, so why should we care? So sadly, many of them, still today, Hector, you know what's going on. Some of the boys are still going into gangs. There's, it's not like everyone's still going to be policemen, firemen, social workers. So yeah, I was very lucky, and I got out of that moment, and very lucky without a criminal record, without jail. And I went into a workplace called Star TV or Fox International, and I started to do some editing and censoring of programs. 3 years there. I took it too easy. Fermi Wong, my social worker, kept saying, study in the meantime, study in evenings, get a degree. I just took it too easy. Corporate jobs,
like,
come on, 5 day, exactly. 5 day working week, who cares? Financial tsunami hit. I was laid off with 400 staff. I was back to zero. And my mom was at a prayer meeting, and she says, please pray for my son. I'm worried he's going to go back to his old days. I'll never forget, she came home that night, says, Jeff, I found you a job. I'm like, wow, Mom, where? Chungking Mansions. I'm like, what? Like, dude, I did half my bad stuff there. And what's the job in Chungking? Cooking curry or... But anyway, came up to the center 2009 and November, first day, and I'm here till today. So my mom was my recruiter, you know. She's gone now, she's in heaven, but, you know, I'm just grateful. She found me this job, and...
She prayed.
She prayed.
Then found the job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
God's your recruiter.
There you go. There you I like that. I see what you did there. Yeah, so, you know, I think for people like us, I think, you know, we're very family oriented, we're very, you know, cultured, very, you know, it's all about values and our roots. And yeah, here I am. My mom's found me this job with God's grace, and yeah, never look back.
All right. Well, I want to talk about, like, going back to the hardships that you faced trying to, like, push everything forward and make this work.
Yeah.
Like, how hard was it back then when you were still not getting much funding? Because you mentioned, like, first 2 years rent-free, right?
Yeah, I mean, for that place. But I'm telling you, Hector, it's not easy, because everywhere I go, people doubt. People, you know, are skeptical. People are not as always warm. You know, when they look at my face, they already have sometimes, sadly, locals have some hostility. They don't think you speak Cantonese, and there's a lot of pushback. So it's hard for, if you're like me, sometimes you just get like, oh, come on again. But one thing I think I learned from my upbringing is that we get knocked down, but we get up again. We just keep going. Yeah, and you know, when you first came into this place, many locals would not want to come into Chungking Mansions. I'm telling you, even myself, I was ashamed to tell my friends I worked here for a year. And then I started to take pride of this place, and I started running tours. And now, Hector, every week I'm full of tours. Every week I do 2 tours, and people coming in, and I'm taking them in, and I would say we've revolutionized the place. Back in the day, who would have thought to come into Chungking for a cultural tour? Now we're running those every week. So,
I mean, even in the midst of COVID, like, there were restaurants that were featured in here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, I take pride in that, the way we've changed and the mindsets of people. You know, back then people would always just call us Siu So Chok Yai or this and that, bad names, but now they call us, sometimes they go, Hang Gong Yan, you know, and I'm really proud of that, you know. I always tell one example of a story. When I was in Tung Chung, I was in a supermarket, and in front of me were these tourists buying lots of stuff. And then I had a few things, I was next in line, and then there was a Papa next behind me. She was just buying some fruits. And I did what you and I would probably do is, Papa, they hadn't seen. And you know what she did? She looked at me and she go, Hang Gong Yan. And I got goosebumps. I was like, dang, that's all it takes, you know? So yeah, you know, so since then it's been my mission that hopefully, just like when you go to America or Singapore, you're Singaporean or you're American, but in Hong Kong, we still got to tell people where we're from. But I'm hoping in 10 years we can just, people go, yeah, he's a Hong Konger, a Hong Kongian, you know, and I think that's what I want for this city, for all of us.
Yeah, so next question is for people who want to be like you in terms of being a social worker. Of course, there's going to be pros and cons, right? So just share a bit of that and what they need to be ready for.
Well, firstly, the pros are you get a degree. You have to have a degree to be a social worker. You know.
So you have it now?
I do. I do have an associate degree, which is, you know, equivalent to getting a social work license, which is really cool. I would say the cons are it's a very emotionally draining job. You know, there's no like 6 o'clock switch off. You know, I'm sure you have that in insurance as well. Your phone's on. So it's a bit tough in that sense, and it's
because you're working with lots of people, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I would say your mindset has to be really a bit more culturally competent. You need to have that understanding of human nature and selflessness, and so lots of ups and downs. I've had clients who died. In 15 years, I've had to bury them, and that's one of the toughest things as a social worker. So you've got to learn to have a better work-life balance, which not all social workers have. It's a struggle. But like I said, the pros are you do see a life-changing thing in your clients. It's not something like you go at the end of the day, you check your bank balance. Oh, wonderful. No, but you actually see someone from the worst points of their life to their best. I was just speaking last week. I've never imagined someone even I gave up as a social worker. I thought she's really not changeable. But just last week she was doing a talk here about her life and how she's changed. She stopped drinking alcohol. She was in prison twice. She nearly lost her baby. But today I saw her like just a different woman. I thought that's incredible. And we all had a part to play in that woman's life. So I'm really proud of that one. Yeah. So that's social work for you. If I would highly recommend anyone from our community. I know just recently I met the first Filipino who's going to be a social worker, and I'm proud of that one as well. So I don't know why many of the Filipinos aren't getting into it, but I think, hey, the Filipinos are one of the most loving, humanity-loving people in the world. I think we definitely need more from this community to be social workers. I'm sure just as insurance workers as well, as well.
In a way, what we do is like social work as well, as long as we do it from the heart. Of course, we do earn by selling products, but we can't just sell products for our own benefit. We want to make sure it helps them.
And there's a care plan involved, I've seen the way you speak to me, and there's like this whole care about what you're getting into. And social workers are on the other end of that spectrum where we take care of someone's life needs as well.
Okay. And next is, I guess your mom will be included in the picture.
Yeah.
People that you look up to and looked up to growing up and until today.
Wow.
Wonderful. It could be anybody besides family.
Yeah. I mean, of course, my mom, she was selfless. She came in here in Hong Kong in the 80s, which is not easy. And somehow she survived and, struggled, but overcame a lot of things. And I really saw a lot of selflessness in her and what she's done. Not just for me, but for many in our community. And I remember her funeral. It was packed. I've done funerals for my clients where there's nobody. And I just thought, that's sad. So for my mom, it was incredible just to see how much she's impacted, not just me, but our community. Fermi Wong, my social worker that bailed me out, I'm indebted to her, 20 years. She's helped fight many of the ethnic minority policies. We wouldn't be social workers if it wasn't for her. We wouldn't have policemen if it wasn't for her. So, I really thank God for her. Yeah, I'm also a huge fan of Manchester United, even though we're really crap right now. But I think that team has always given me a lot of values and core values and ideals of never giving up. So yeah, sports is important for me. Music is as well. But I'm a huge fan of Manchester United. I think these are the things that helped me, to be who I am today. Of course, God. I think as Christians, we have a higher calling. And we have a tougher life, a more challenging life, because we're expected even more. And the Bible tells us to continue to serve and to do good. And I think, I'm grateful to God. If not, I wouldn't be here talking to you, Hector. I'd be somewhere else in a worse place. So
thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Well, next question is Is there anything you are excited about that you're working on or for next year?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned to you, the museum is still under construction. We're still looking at funding to come in. But I'm really excited about that. Hong Kong's first culturally, an ethnic minority diverse space that can talk about our timeline, our contributions. There's no other place like it. So I'm really excited for it. Looking forward for you to maybe come in and feature that one day. I think for me, that's continuing to build this community that we have in Chungking Mansions. We have this really cool tours that we're doing, and I really want to keep building upon that. And tomorrow, I don't want people to say Chungking as a bad place only, that they can also see there's so much it brings to the city in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Okay, this question is a little bit off topic from the usual questions.
Cool.
Which I always like to do spontaneously.
Love it.
In terms of you,
like
meeting your wife, right?
Yeah.
like, was that in a way planned out, you think? Right? And also, the second one after that is, how is life like being a husband compared to when you were single?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Man, Hector, you really know how to pull those out. No, I mean, obviously, we met in the most incredible circumstances in 2014 when Hong Kong was in a very crazy space, in a very politically, chaotic place. And that's where we met. And yeah, I'm grateful. And I think God had a plan, and definitely that too, because you don't just meet in these kind of spaces and places and that time. So definitely as a married man, it's not all everyday happy-go-lucky. It's challenging because we're two different personalities. We have different ideals sometimes, but I would say marriage is fun as well because, Ariane, my wife, she's incredible. She's also like me, likes to serve, she's very passionate about community. So yeah, we try and mix and match that at times. Are there challenges? Absolutely. There are days when you just think like, oh man, I was happy single, but of course there are days when you're happy married because, you both have a common goal. And, we, again, like I said, we're all about community. We're all about giving, and we love doing that. So highly recommend finding someone with the same passion. That's really important.
For me, honestly, I just feel the best part of a Christian marriage is husband selflessly serves wife, wife selflessly serves husband at all cost, till death do you part, through sickness and health, through whatever situation. You just have this feeling of no matter what, through thick and thin, right? Now, it's very tough if you go outside of that. Right. I'm sure other religions also have this similarity, right? But without any beliefs, though, it's super tough. That's why divorce rates are so high right now.
Yeah, and I think one thing is really important. I mean, Ariane, we go to church. She serves in the church as well. So every Sunday we refuel in His Word, which is really important because you're right. Monday to Saturday, you're like in the world.
It's chaos.
It's chaos. And then on Sunday, you go back and you're like, oh, this is what it's all about. And yeah, we thank God for that.
And it helps because He's the center of the relationship.
Correct.
Like, let's say both of you are like almost like,
yeah,
but you're like, you know what? Let's pray separately.
Yeah.
And self-reflect. Then let's get back to this.
Correct.
And then you come back.
And you're right.
I hated you. I hated you for doing that, but I love you.
There you go.
I hate you so much that I love you.
You sound like a married man, Hector. That's pretty cool.
No, like I believe that applies to everything though. Like even career path. Like if you really stick it through, it's through thick and thin. Like through the tough times to the good times. You're never gonna get the good times if you just quit when it's hard.
Well said.
And not only career, anything else that you put your time to that you believe in.
That's
right?
wonderful.
Because people quit too soon most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm not only talking marriages.
You're right.
But there is no easy way out because it's both hard anyway.
Correct.
You take the easy way out all the time. That's why your life's hard. But you never take the easy way out. It's still hard.
There you go.
So pick one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, your girl's a lucky woman, man. If she,
my future girl.
Girl, yeah.
I'm still single. So
there you go. Okay. Come on, guys.
Yeah. So anyway, to wrap it up, there is no more questions at this point.
Hey.
But we're trying to do something different here before we wrap it up. You have any one question for me?
Yeah, no, Hector, what are your
Just
plans?
one?
What are your plans?
What's my plan for marriage or what?
Marriage, I think that's a tough one.
Okay.
I think, no, but with what you're doing, what is your ultimate aim with all these, you've been interviewing lots of cool people. What are you trying to get out there?
Before I joined insurance, I loved hanging out with people always.
Cool.
Like if you knew me way back, I would always be like, hey Jeff, how are you? We haven't met for 2 years. Let's catch up.
Nice.
Let's meet at Knutsford. Let's have a beer.
Nice.
Then I would ask everything like, how's family? How's it going? How's life? How's dating? Oh, you had a girlfriend. Oh, you broke up. Like why? I was just that guy. And then I joined this industry. I realized that's my job.
Oh, cool.
So it's always building relationships, right? And I have had clients that only probably signed up this year, only signed up last year, but I've known them for years, and people are too transactional. Yes, there are certain situations where if they want this watch now and they found me and I happen to have this watch, they'll buy it. But everything is in a way people buying you as a human being.
Gotcha.
So this is for building a community. Kinetic outcome is one, building community. Second, building relationship. Third, branding for me and branding for the camera guy.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, we are building something here where I have a conversation with you. I'm not saying you'll be gone tomorrow, but tomorrow's never guaranteed. But at least I can always watch something where I had you in video.
That's brilliant.
And we built this relationship through this conversation.
That's brilliant.
Which is what I exactly do when I meet people outside anyway. So why not just film it?
Wow.
Right? And then one day, there's a community of probably 200, 500, 1,000 people that we interviewed. And hey, thanks for being part of Kinetic Outcome. We got an event for you guys. It's free for you, exclusive invite, and we're offering free wine and drinks for everybody, and there's food. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
That's why people are so focused on transactions. And people nowadays, not all, but a lot, are too transactional with every move that they make. Yes, I understand calculated risk. We are at war.
That's
right. It's always war for men. Like, we have to play chess. But in the end, it's like, I have to meet 100 prospects and tell them about what I do before even 20 buy from me.
Gotcha.
And out of that 70, maybe 30 really don't support me, but those 40, some of them might buy in the future, or they might refer people to me, right?
Gotcha.
But the thing is, you have to communicate. So what I'm trying to do is just that's one, build relationships, because respect, you can never buy it.
Well said.
Of course, love, you can never buy it.
100%.
So I'm looking forward to meet my wife one day.
Hey.
Yes. And also, you can't buy time, right? So I want to make the most out of the time I have in this world. I don't know how long I have.
Gotcha.
But I want to make sure when I'm gone, like, oh, Hector did awesome, you know? And I'm like, you know, like, hey, God, I did cool. I did good, right?
That's
you did all you can, you know? So, yeah, that's one. And the last point is, for insurance, no one in the industry ever became director who is non-Chinese.
There you go.
I'm not only talking about Filipinos. I'm talking Pakistani, Indian, French,
Nepali.
Even Nepali, and even Russian.
Wow.
There's so many other nationalities. Japanese, Korean, whichever. Never been done. So why can't I be the first in the whole of the history of Hong Kong, right?
That's wonderful.
So I like to always declare these things and just say it, because if you don't, then how can you get the people that actually support you to believe in you and find you?
That's real.
Because it's all about being the vortex and attracting, right? And people act as if, like, in a way, they don't have it yet, so they're not abundant. So I'm not there yet, so I'm not happy now.
Gotcha.
But I rather feel that I have it now, because we only have here and now. So I rather be the character of, I'm director now.
There you know,
I'm director now.
Own
I
it,
have
bro.
the biggest multilingual district in Hong Kong of multi-talented and multilingual people. Plus, of course, 香港人, no?
That's
of course,
important.
I should have some Chinese, Hong Kong Chinese there, and some of them speak Mandarin. Then we open China as well,
Wonderful.
right?
Wonderful.
So there's so much possibilities in life, and what you focus on is what you will get. So stop focusing on the negatives, because many people focus too much on what they can't get, or why they can't get it, and they sell themselves why they can't ever get it or get to that point. So focus more on the positive.
That's cool,
side.
man. Well, Hector, I'm really proud that you got me involved in this today. So thank you, really.
Yeah, same here. Pleasure to have you, because it's been so long. You're very hard to get.
Thank you.
It's been 2 years. And this is the first time we sat down and finally got to do this. Talking about it for a long time.
We should have curry soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good chicken curry.
We will.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it so
well,
much.
ladies and gentlemen, Jeff, Hector Tamo, Kinetic Outcome, and all the details in the description box.
Our aim is to provide value, so if you like what you watched, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm also a financial advisor based in Hong Kong, so feel free to check the description box for my details and email or DM. And if ever you need video and photography services, the phenomenal videos you're watching right now are filmed by 𝙆𝙤𝙣𝙚𝙣𝙗. Lastly, if you love hip-hop music, rap, R&B, singing, whichever that sounds amazing to your ears, because I always do a lot of experiments with it, feel free to drop by my channel at SCF Saint or Saint Crossfade. Appreciate you for being part of this episode and more to come. Till next time.